broadcasting to Harry Potter fans around the world for more than 11 years. Join Terrence Pinkston, Bailey Riddle, Luke Hogan, Gretchen Rush, and Alex Lohman as they take the wizarding world by storm. This is Hogwarts Radio. Stay classy, Hogwarts.
This is Hogwarts Radio, episode 251 for October 10th, 2019. Hogwarts Radio is the official podcast for Wizarding News from S.N.A.P.E, discussing all things Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts, and the rest of the Wizarding world. For the quickest up-to-date news on the franchise, make sure you check out wizarding.news. Welcome to episode 251 of Hogwarts Radio. I'm Terrence Pinkston.
I'm Bailey Riddle.
I'm Alex Lohman.
And I'm Kelsey Cooper.
Hogwarts Radio can be found anywhere you get your podcasts online. It doesn't matter where you listen, just be sure to click subscribe and you'll have a new episode as soon as it's released.
Make sure you follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to get in on the fun with other listeners and fans of the series.
Don't forget, Hogwarts Radio is also on Patreon. By pledging, you'll receive instant access to bonus content, including behind-the-scenes planning of the show, Into the Common Room, Hogshead Radio, and much more. Sign up today over at patreon.com/Hogwarts Radio.
This week's episode is brought to you by Patreon producer Bailey. Okay, so it's episode 251. We're kind of over that mid-500 hill a little bit. I'm kind of doing the waving motion for those of you that are watching the video of the podcast, which we don't record. Yeah, Alex is like, yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
No one.
Hey, but we're a quarter of the way to 1,000 episodes.
Oh, good Lord. It's like you're telling me in July that we're getting really close to fall, and I live in South Florida, and you're like, it's never coming.
Okay, so you know what bothers me about, like, mid-July is that Hobby Lobby already has their Christmas stuff out.
And what's the problem with that? Christmas. All year round.
I mean, it's the middle
Christmas in July, Terrence.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works, guys. That's not how it...
Christmas can be around all year long. I don't care.
I can't believe the podcast host is the Grinch.
That's right.
Also,
Bah humbug.
Hot take here, Sorcerer's Stone has actually become one of my favorite Christmas movies, even though it's not truly a Christmas movie, because you can also say that about Chamber of Secrets too, but the scenes that involve the holidays and the snow and the Christmas tree and Happy Christmas, Harry. Like, I love all of it. And my husband's like, are we doing this again? He's also Jewish, so he's learning about Christmas every year. We're together. But he's like, we're considering this a Christmas movie? I'm like, yeah, because the Christmas scenes are just so wonderful.
I mean, Sorcerer's Stone as to Christmas is to, like, Rocky IV is to Christmas. It just really, there's like 3 scenes in Sorcerer's Stone that really go with the Christmas theme. I don't know, maybe it's the snowy Hedwig's, like, thing.
I would say you could call Sorcerer's Stone as much of a Christmas movie as Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Thank you. Okay, we'll give it that. We definitely will.
Yes, for that. For that. People can come at me and be like, yeah, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. I'm like, no. So then I get to count Sorcerer's Stone too.
Well, Harry Potter doesn't throw, Severus Snape off the top of Nakatomi Plaza. I love Alan Rickman in that movie so much. That's, Hans Gruber is just right on.
Wasn't that one of his first major films that he did?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I want to say he was a veteran actor at that point. That movie was made in the 80s? So.
Well, okay. So then maybe I'm getting my timelines confused because, for our listeners, I love theater. I love acting. And I remember one of the things I read about Alan Rickman was he actually got his acting career started later on in life, like in his late 20s, early 30s, which doesn't seem later on, but for most actors it does. And so when I saw Die Hard, which, full disclosure, I saw for the first time last Christmas, I was like, oh, that must be one of his first movies because he looks so young there. But that might have just been a stupid assumption on my part. Oops.
No, he was famous for, his theater roles, but let's see, as far as filmography, Die Hard, like I said, was the first film that he did. Television, he was actually in Romeo and Juliet in 1978. Before that, believe it or not, he played, that's my worst British accent ever, I'm sorry. He played Sherlock Holmes in 1976 on the stage. So that's where, 76, 77, and 78, he really got his start into acting. And obviously that was...
Yeah, I can see why they cast him for that.
That was later on in life because he didn't hit the film screen until, 1988. It looks like his first movie was Die Hard.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Well, stop it. I, for once, knew what I was talking about, kind of.
Okay, speaking of mean characters, let's talk about Creature for just a moment here. I was thinking about Creature, much as I do about house elves throughout the week. Why was Creature so mean? And I was like, well, was it because he was wearing the locket, or was it because he was just a product of his environment? Because Mrs. Black, the portrait of Mrs. Black, really never treated him, horribly. Sirius Black treated him like absolute garbage.
As much as I love Sirius Black, one of my favorite characters, really, he must have just been hard to put up with no matter who you were. Just not even in a him being mean to you way. He's just a lot.
Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, he's a lot to handle. He's like a teenager that feels like he never left Bayside High.
Yeah, he's a teenager who got stuck in a torture prison for 1,000,000 years.
Really did. Yeah.
And that's not going to be a good combination.
Yeah, definitely.
So probably all of the above. Probably Locket plus Sirius Black plus living in that house in general is probably also really gross.
Well, yeah, I mean, the house was...
you spend that much time around hate, you're going to come out feeling the same way.
Would we feel like the locket did affect him in certain ways? Or, because it's a magic that we really don't understand. It makes people feel melancholy or anxious or... sad or angry.
How often did he have it on his person?
I don't know. It was in his bed, right? Until Mundungus stole it.
Well, but did you have to be, I guess it's how close to it do you have to be for it to be affecting you? Because, Harry, Ron, Hermione managed to have it on them for a little bit before they started getting a little snappy, and then they would just take it off. But if he just had it, chilling in his bed for a good chunk of the day, and then he was out and about, you'd think he'd be normal, unless he was, taking a nap or something.
Well, and what if the effects of it are compounded, so the longer you're around it, the more you're affected by it, because it's that residual locket magic.
But the other thing I was thinking about was we know that in certain situations, house elves react to things differently or have different types of magic or different magical abilities than wizards do. So I wonder if the locket would indeed impact a house elf the same way it would a human wizard. But kind of to the first general point of, was it the locket or was it, the product of his environment? I would just cite that, so Taryn starts talking about Creature in the beginning and my face lit up because Creature is actually one of those characters that I think is undervalued because his story arc is just so redeeming in the end. I remember the last time I reread the series all the way through and Creature's ending, I was sitting on my couch and I was like, you go, Creature, you go. I was so happy for him and just my heart broke for him a little bit too. But kind of just also shows that when Harry and Hermione and Ron enter the picture and things kind of change in the dynamic of the Black Manor, Creature chooses the right side.
Yeah, he does have a pretty good redemption arc. And I like that they gave a redemption arc to one of the house elves. Just because it seemed to be kind of all the house elves are kind of a little weird or annoying, except for Dobby.
Yeah, but
that seems to be most of it. So I appreciate them not making Creature into just a total...
Well, even Dobby, he's still weird and annoying. It's just
that's true.
Useful and weird and annoying, I think, is the only difference that we get for Dobby. Whereas you have Winky that's just a sad, mopey... She's basically going through a breakup.
Yeah, I guess she is.
Winky is like the 20-something of the generation. Like, she's always drunk. I mean, poor Winky. Really. Poor Winky. Like, always
She's going through the worst breakup of her life.
Yeah,
She really is.
like legit.
College freshman.
And
I
she can
mean,
do so much better than him.
Yeah, like nearly headless Nick must have ghosted her or something. Yeah, like that. That was funny, right? Okay.
I laughed, but I'm mad that I laughed.
So yeah, I mean, it's all around agreed that Creature had a wonderful redemption arc. But I mean, at the end of the day, was it because he finally got rid of the locket? I mean, or was it a combination of because Harry started treating him with a little bit of respect?
All of the above.
Both. Yeah, all the above, right?
I will not argue one way or the other. You can't make me. Also, I feel like the whole being nice about Regulus and everything, his death had to also have an impact because that was like his buddy right there, and now he's all sad because he's left without him and he's stuck with the black kid who's annoying to him. And
right, yeah, because Sirius really didn't treat Creature too well. You know?
So it's a mix of grief and being annoyed constantly and having this symbol of just crazy dark magic around you at all times for years. That's not going to make you a very likable person or elf.
Do we think the magic itself really affected, house elves the way that it affect humans? Because we know that house elves aren't bound by the same magic rules as humans are. So, I mean, is it safe to say that Creature just kept the locket as a kind of a memento, or was it because, he really felt a strange connection to it, like, oh, I've got to keep this safe, Voldemort put a kind of spell on the locket and overpowered whatever kind of magic Creature had. Alex is thinking very hard over there, and I can see it.
She is, yes. So kind of to my earlier point, I do think that the locket would have had a different impact on house elves for the same reasons that you were just citing, that we know that there are inherent differences magically between wizards and house elves. I think, he probably held on to it as like a weird memento, but I also think if his relationship with Regulus is what we think it was, or what it was, the kind of inferred in the books, Creature's not dumb. I think Creature probably knew what Regulus was up to, and if he could make the connection, it was kind of like, okay, well, this is what Regulus fought for, and at this point, maybe he's thinking like, I have a better magical tolerance, so to speak. I can withstand this. I'm kind of the last bastion between, of Voldemort and death, or this getting into the wrong hands. I mean, this is also me like writing that redemption arc really hard and thinking that in the back of his mind, Creature was just like this amazing unsung hero that we just didn't learn enough about.
Yeah.
That's fair. And also, Regulus was probably one of the last people he trusted. So if he knows that it was something he wanted to get rid of, he wouldn't give it to anyone else, any of the other Blacks, because he knew they probably wouldn't get rid of it like he wanted. And he wouldn't give it to Sirius, because why would he trust Sirius? He's Sirius. So yeah, that's also one of the reasons he could have kept it.
Yeah, definitely.
Or it was pretty, and he was like, ooh, necklace.
Ooh, shiny. Let me keep.
Yeah, that's why I keep it.
But
I thought Winky. Remember Winky?
Yes, but we know that
like little trinkets. Why not?
Okay, but house elves, at least sober ones, are not materialistic. Dobby's like, oh yeah, he didn't really care about materialistic goods until he was freed, I feel like.
I guess he didn't really have anything to care about all that much until he was freed.
So could we see Dobby wearing the all-new collection? Because we know Dobby likes to wear Muggle clothes, right? He wears shoes, he wears hats, all that good stuff. Could we see him wearing the Black Milk clothing collection
I think this might be out there even for Dobby. It doesn't feel like his taste. He's got a very refined taste.
So Black Melt Clothing is releasing their Harry Potter themed attire on August 20th, which by the time you hear this show, it will already be out. The collection is really perfect for Muggle and Wizard students alike to start the new school year off right. Buyers will be able to choose from a wide variety of styles, including dresses, rompers, pants, shirts, jackets, and workout gear. And this is coming from the article over at MuggleNet. This line features Hogwarts house colors, of course, much as they do every single year, along with well-known symbols from the books and movies. Students can attend Quidditch practice in Hufflepuff leggings, train for the Triwizard Tournament in Gryffindor red, or show up for class in the Hogwarts Letterman. Harry Potter fans everywhere will get a chance to purchase their favorite outfits starting August 20th when the sale goes live. So go to blackmeltclothing.com, search up the Hogwarts collection. I really wish I could wear this.
This is exactly my aesthetic. I'm gonna buy every single one of these.
This is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's different than your standard just like t-shirt with words on it, which I have like 80 of. So
yeah, it really is because
I really like the look of this.
Yeah. However, now I keep imagining Dobby in them, and
no,
that was way funnier. Him in like the dark mark like shirt with like the like leather looking skirt. Yeah, I think he looked great.
Yeah, Dobby wouldn't wear this, sir. Dobby wouldn't wear it at all. Oh my goodness. So even the collection for guys looks really amazing. It looks like, there's it looks like a pair of coveralls, but they're inverted, much as the fashion is nowadays. It has the Deathly Hallows symbol on it, some celestial symbols, much as we saw in, Prisoner of Azkaban and all that other stuff. But, I really like this. I do. I mean, God, Black Milk has been releasing Harry Potter themed collections since 2017, I guess, whenever it released their first set of workout clothes, like the leggings and stuff like that. Compressed shirts. And, by the second time around, these newest pieces are filled with more color, style, and flourish. Previews for all new pieces are on the Black Milk website, blog.blackmilkclothing.com, and check out their Schools Out attire. This is cool. I really like this stuff.
I do have to go back to the original question of if, Dobby would be flashy enough for this. And, I think it might be a little posh for Dobby's eccentric taste. That said, he also has a wholesome quality to his taste. So I think he would be partial to the new Vans collection. They're slip-on, they're accessible. You could match them with some cool Freedom socks. Like, I think he'd be totally into that.
If Harry Potter handed him any of these pieces of clothing, he'd wear it incorrectly, but he'd wear it.
Very cool stuff. Check out blog.blackmilkclothing.com. Search up the Harry Potter collection. It should be right there for you. So Universal has a new ticket deal. So the past couple of weeks, Universal announced an all-new theme park that's going to be opening probably in the next 5 years or so. If you want to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter theme park, obviously there's a lot to see in Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios. The best option is to get a park-to-park hopper ticket, of course, so you can ride the Hogwarts Express, back from Universal Studios to Islands of Adventure. But there are packages now, such as a 3-park 5-day ticket starting at $53 an adult per day, or a 3-park 4-day ticket starting at $64 per adult per day. And if you're not there for that long, 3-day park to park, it's going to be a 3-day ticket starting at $82 per adult per day. It includes a 3-day admission to one Universal Studios Orlando theme park, either the Universal Studios Florida or the Islands of Adventure or Volcano Bay per day admission to select live entertainment venues at Universal City Walk. Okay, so part of the problem I have is, paying for, I mean, obviously no problem paying for, entrance into the theme parks, but good God, they are so expensive nowadays. But this is actually a pretty cool breakdown here. A 3-park, 5-day ticket at $53 per adult per day.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's smart of them to try and capitalize on like reductions as you increase your time, right? Because then if you're from out of town, you got to do the hotel. If you're staying in the park, you're eating in the parks and stuff, so they can kind of recoup the costs elsewhere. What I also think is prudent on their part. So I am actually going home to Los Angeles, Bailey, next week. And I was looking at Disney stuff because Disney just opened the new Galaxy's Edge out there. So I was going to, check it out. I know Orlando did too, but Disney has gotten so obscenely expensive, even with like their packages and discounts. I couldn't stomach it. I was like, I love Star Wars, but no, I cannot do this. And I was talking with my friend who has a annual pass to Universal here in Florida. And she was just saying like, that's like half of what I paid for like my annual pass. So, I think in the theme park competition world, they're smart to try and capitalize it and kind of think about, they're bringing in tourism other ways to the Orlando area. They're going to recoup the cost elsewhere that, the customer's not really seeing right up front when you're thinking about the value of the ticket and getting in and stuff like that. So I think it's a good deal. And I also think it's just very smart on Universal's part.
I love that they offer these great bundle deals, especially considering you're getting 3 parks for the price of this ticket. And, for a 5-day ticket starting at $53 a day, that's such a steal. I mean, you can't get entrance to hardly any theme park for $53 a day. And the value that you're getting for your money on this it's unmatched.
Yeah, I think even, let's go outside the box here. SeaWorld is like $100 a day, like $88 a day. That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to stay out of this. We already know my stance as a poor and y'all are busting out these numbers. And Terrence was like, yeah, of course, I have no problem paying for the entrance fee. And I was like, I can't pay for the board there.
Well, it's hard. Even no, Alex, even Alex and I talked about this. It's like, is there a? I mean, yeah, it's by choice, sure, but like, is there seriously a dollar amount that really segregates people away? And just because they don't want to go, I mean, they can't go. It's. Mm-hmm. To me, as a Harry Potter fan, to be able to experience these parks and being frustrated enough not to be able to experience them because you can't afford the experience is unfathomable.
Well, what was interesting was, back in May, I met up with Gretchen when she was there to preview the Hagrid's ride, and I just ditched work and went to meet her. And we were walking around the parks and we were talking about like how costly things can be. And it is true that like it does create a barrier. And I think we've talked about it on the podcast before too, that it really is disheartening that, there are cost barriers for people to really experience this magic. And, before we got started, I was venting to Terrence about my frustrations with WB really commercializing a lot of Harry Potter and cracking down and really, squeezing Harry Potter for every nut, sickle, and, oh my God, guys, blanking on the third.
Galleon,
thank you.
Sickle.
I kept thinking bowl, and I'm like, what are you doing? Galleon. But, they're trying to make as much money as they can off of it. And so it's nice to be able to contrast it and see this that is more, affordable. I also think that they have a pretty good, the California and Florida residence deal, which will, give you like a 3-day bundle or whatever. And it gives you a nice time window. I think it gives you like 6 months or something like that to use all of the days. So you don't have to go in one sitting and complete it all, which is nice. I don't know what the time frames are on like the 5-day, the deals that you're looking at. They probably want to, condense those time frames to make sure that people are staying in hotels and all of that. But no, you're absolutely right, Terrence. Like you can't even go to like some of the local water parks for, under $40. And at that point, $10 more a day. And I'm going to go see like everything and Volcano Bay too, which Gretchen checked out and said was amazing. I mean, it's really cool. I'm glad that they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey, as a kind of Los Angeles area resident, I mean, I know you're above LA by quite a few miles, but do you believe that an annual pass is worth it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just renewed my annual pass last month. Hogwarts Radio listener Roxanne and I went to Universal, and so my pass had expired about a month prior, and I was looking into the different passes and seeing what level was going to benefit me the most. And I think like a single day ticket to Universal Studios out here is $119.
Yeah.
For an extra, I think it's $20, you can get the California Resident Pass, which gets you, it's about 250 days in the park. So there's a lot of blackout days in the summer and most weekends that you can't go to the park, which doesn't really work for me because I work Monday through Friday. So if I'm going to go to the park, I want those weekend days, and I want days in the summer and in the winter so I can go all year round.
Yeah.
So for, I think it's an extra $160. I paid a little bit over $300 for my pass. I get 325 days out of the year. So it's basically almost every single day of the year, and I get free parking, which pays for itself in 8 visits because parking is $20 every single time. So as long as I go to the park within 8 visits, I've basically saved myself the money from the California pass to the next level up, which is the gold pass.
And see, that's what I'm trying to justify here is like if I go, I pay $119 for the ticket. Well, I have to go, like 3 or 4 times in order to pay for the annual pass. And I'm like, well, is it just worth it to get an annual pass? That's my dilemma with Disney right now is because I love to go to Disney. Me and my wife, we go to Disney, at least 3 times a year, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, after the second time, the admission to the park, well, it really pays for itself. And plus you get discounts at like the vending stands and all that other stuff.
That's another thing. A lot of annual passes give you discounts at the vendors and the merchants and whatnot. So I get a 20% discount on anything that I buy in the park, whether it's food. The only thing I don't get it on is alcohol, which is obvious. But so I'm saving money on parking. I'm saving money on any merch or any food that I might get while I'm at the park. And you can even use it at City Walk throughout those stores as well.
Right. So there's additional benefits that they provide in order for you to, sign up for that pass. But I mean, it is well worth it. I mean, I would have to say.
Yeah, logistically, if you can justify going more than once or twice, I think an annual pass is almost always the better way to go.
All right. Well, like I said,
Gosh, I wish I had money.
Like I said, it is a short show today. But before we get out of here, let's go ahead and play a game. And this is a game that Luke and I introduced last week at the beginning of the episode, and it is theme songs for Potter characters. So the Potter characters that we have today are Slughorn and Snape. So let's talk about what would be a good theme song for Slughorn.
Oh, okay. I just had something come to me, and I can't think of what it's called, so give me a second to search it.
I have 2 suggestions because I think about Slughorn's kind of like pride in himself and his networking and like collecting people on the shelf, I think is the expression that he uses with Harry. So I don't know why, but Iggy Azalea Fancy popped into my head. And then I was also thinking about Notorious B.I.G.
Oh my God, for Snape.
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't. I was thinking.
Oh my God! Yes.
Lock that over to Snape.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So since
great.
Snape is such a great legilimens, right? This is our song for Snape. That is it. Yeah. Hypnotized by Notorious B.I.G. Oh my God. I can't believe we threw Notorious B.I.G. into this show. That is crazy.
Okay.
What can I say?
I've got my my Slughorn song.
Okay.
All right.
It's The Fame by Lady Gaga.
Oh
Yes!
my God.
Yes.
Okay, so oh my God, you know what? Oh my God, you know, guys, I was just thinking for another perfect song for Snape.
Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
Right. Poker Face
solid,
by
that's
Snape.
great.
Yeah, Poker Face by Snape. Yes,
Yeah.
Poker Face by Lady Gaga is definitely the ultimate
He's
Snape
got
song.
a good poker face.
Yeah.
He does. I would hate to play poker with him. That and, the whole romance thing. I don't want him going into my mind.
Oh my goodness. Well, you guys, I know it was a bit of a shorter show, but I had a lot of fun on this week's episode. And hey, we have a lot of great things planned for Hogwarts Radio. You guys have no idea. We have our Road to LeakyCon segment, which we're going to continue on next week's episode. We have an exciting announcement that we're working on. I am not going to say any more about it. It involves our patrons. You guys are just going to have to stay tuned, okay? I'm so excited. Guys, I want to tell them. Can I tell them? Please, let me tell them. No?
Shh. We made a deal, Terrence.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I'm not the secret keeper. I
gotta be
really
the
am
bad
not.
parent.
I am not the secret keeper, okay? But I want to tell you guys, but I can't. So with that being said, we want to thank everybody so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Much shorter episode, but we promise we'll be back next time with a full panel. Gretchers is going to be back. Trust me, she's on vacation right now, enjoying her much-needed time off from her job as news team manager over at MuggleNet. She is probably soaking up the sun on a beach, drinking a kumbayacha or whatever the hell it is that she drinks.
Oh, God.
Anyway.
She's living her best Gretch life.
Gretchers is living her best Gretchers, sure.
Mm-hmm.
She's Gretching it up.
Hey, we want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Terrence Pinkston.
I'm Bailey Riddle.
I'm Alex Bowman.
And I'm Kelsey Cooper.
And we'll see you guys next time for episode 252. Bye-bye.
That was bloody brilliant.
Codswallop.